All right, Tickety-Boo news. So last week, I think it may have been the week before, but last week, there was a report that came out from 13 federal agencies predicting that if significant steps are not taken to rein in global warming, all kinds of terrible things will happen. And the New York Times, a former newspaper, and a lot of places kind of lied about this, saying it's Trump's own report and Trump is ignoring it. And Trump, here's from the New York Times, Trump has taken aggressive steps to allow more planet warming pollution from vehicle tailpipes and power plant smokestacks and has vowed to pull the United States out of the useless Paris Agreement, as if all these things were going to make our air worse. And this is all nonsense. It wasn't Trump's report. The report was started under the Obama administration. I think it has to. It is a required report that has to be made. But let me just give you the result of this. Here's Katie Tour from NBC and MSNBC on how she feels about climate change.
I read that New Yorker article today and I thought, gosh, how pointless is my life and how pointless are the decisions that I'm making on a day-to-day basis when we are not focused on climate change every day, when it's not leading every one of our newscasts.
Can't you save us, Britney Spears? Can we be saved?
Can we indeed be saved? Katie Tour's life is pointless. I could have told her that, but not for the same reasons. Here is the thing. The New York Times, even the New York Times article starts out by saying this new report says the damage from global warming will knock as much as 10% off the size of the American economy by century's end. And Holman W. Jenkins Jr., who is one of the best writers on climate change over at the Wall Street Journal, says, what does this assessment actually say? Because 10% is, he says in 2090, this is what it says, in 2090, the U.S. will experience annual climate-related costs of $500 billion. $500 billion is not 10% of today's economy. It's 2.5%. It's 10% of 1971's economy. And as we grow and as the economy grows, it will be even less. In other words, climate change, the change that is coming, is affordable. The things that we'll have to do to deal with climate change are affordable. They're things that we will be able to afford. And what's more, as we become more technologically adept, as we invent new things, climate change is actually going to go down. Climate change does not get worse as we become more developed. It gets better. And it says, he goes on to say, Holman Jenkins goes on to say, over the past 15 or 20 years, the climate beat in the press has been handed over to reporter activists who've decided that climate science is impenetrable, but at least nobody ever got fired for exaggerating the risks of climate change. Their ignorant crisis babble is why electorates everywhere now believe climate and prosperity are necessarily at odds. This is why they're rioting in Paris, because they want they want there to be a living wage. They want to be able to live instead of having their gasoline taxed. Every study, he goes on to say, including the U.S. government's latest, shows the opposite. Continued prosperity is essential to mitigating the risks of climate change. As we become richer, we'll be able to pay for more of the things we have to do. And as we become more technologically advanced, we will pollute less and have more ways of changing the pollution that is going into the air. That's good news, not bad news. It is tickety-boo news. In fact, everything is tickety-boo. All right, I'll be back tomorrow for the last show of the week. I'm Andrew Klavan. This is The Andrew Klavan Show.